Hello, good evening, good evening. It is Friday, time for our 5 minutes with First Lady. And once again, very grateful to all of those who joined us on last week. I really appreciate you and for your comments. And just grateful for this time, another week, another time He has blessed us. We are 24 days into 2020. Unbelievable. But just grateful for everything and for what all God has done. Today's subject is communication. Communication is so important. One of the things I know that when I was studying psychology many years ago, one of the things that we discussed was verbal and nonverbal communication. A lot of things can be said with both. We know that verbal communication is with our mouths, or believe it or not, written word is considered verbal communication. Nonverbal are people who are deaf that use sign language, as well as our actions. Could be our facial expressions, it could be gestures, or like, what, or just, those type of things are nonverbal communication. And we need communication in order to speak with others. In order for people to understand us, we have to have communication. And we can send messages with both. I remember as a child, my mother used a lot of nonverbal communication. We knew when we did good and we knew when we did bad. We did not want to see the nonverbal, that look of, when you get home, you're going to get it. And it always happens whenever we were in church. But that nonverbal communication, just having a full understanding that our communication is very important to other people. Silence can even mean a lot with people. If you don't say anything at all, people read into, they assume. We don't want people to assume anything with us. We want to be able to communicate and verbalize how we feel, so that people know how we feel. Most generally, with me, people know how I feel on most cases. I'm able to communicate how I'm feeling with a person. Basically saying, where you stand with me, because I'm able to communicate good and bad. With communication comes criticism. Some people have a hard time accepting criticism, good criticism, bad criticism. But communication is very important. We have to be careful of our expressions. We have to be careful of how we communicate and how we, say things. Our tone of voice can determine how something is received. Whether we're talking too loud or talking too forceful can be taken in a negative way. We just have to guard everything what we do. Is very important, not only in church settings, but also in our professional settings. I say a lot of times you can basically tell anybody anything depending on how you say it, how you communicate. And it's very important, especially in the times that we're living in. We're living in this millennial time where people are always texting each other. People are FaceTiming, and, we live in this social media world where words really do matter. And once you put it out there, it's out there. You may delete it, but somebody sees it. And what you say, can determine a lot of things. People see who your character is by, how many characters do you put for Twitter? How many characters can you use for Instagram? It means a lot. So your words matter. So in communication, you need to be intentional with your communication each day. One thing I've learned most importantly with the death of my sister and the death of my mother is communication, letting people know, number one, that how I feel about them. I tell people whenever I'm encounter them at that moment, I love you, or I'm glad to see you. I try to send text message to let people know, hey, I'm thinking about you. I care about you. Those type of communications that, we didn't have text messaging then. We used to write letters. Now stamps cost as much, it's just as easy to make a phone call or to text than to send a letter or a note. But sometimes it is good to send a letter or a note. Just taking that special time to let somebody know that you care. I don't want to live my life with regrets. I want to be able to say and communicate what I need to communicate with people while I'm living. Or while they're living. I don't want to have any regrets after they're gone. I should have said this to them, or I should have expressed this to them, or I should not have shown a negative countenance with them all the time. I should have been positive. So communication is very important in this life. I want us to all be positive, but sometimes we do have to say things that may be hurtful or may come off as hurtful. And you need to govern how you say that as well. But it's important as people of God, that we communicate. And when we communicate, do it in a loving manner, do it in a good manner. Because we're helping others. We're not here to tear people down. So we need to govern our communication to help others. And that's the message that I wanted to leave with you today about your verbal and your nonverbal communication. Now, with the nonverbal communication, when you're talking to people, make sure you're not closed off or showing a face that can intimidate or to, prevent people from wanting to share with you. I do talk a lot with my expressions, and I do have to watch how I keep my expression, because I've been talking to people and they're looking at me and they go, what do you think? What happened? Because I show sometimes my expression in my face. So there are just certain things we have to watch about ourselves. Okay. So good communication is always good. So we want to be that way. We want to do that. Okay. So that's my communication today. It's talking about good communication, verbal and nonverbal communication. I want to also draw you all to my YouTube page. There are some additional videos out there. I've had a busy work week and not able to load as many videos this week as I wanted to. So I do have some more videos that I do need to load to my YouTube page. I will make that available in the comments for you to click on there, subscribe. I want you all to share this video, like the video, share the video, get the word out, and today's message about communication. Okay, remember my hashtag, there is life after church. So after church, there is life. So remember that as well. God bless you all. And again, go to my YouTube page.